In the sprawling city of Los Angeles, a taxi driver unknowingly becomes the captive of a contract killer, involved in a high-stakes journey from one hit kill to the next in a single night. Hello and welcome to IM Movies. The movie begins as an assassin named Vincent arrives at an airport in Los Angeles carrying a briefcase. A man carrying a similar briefcase intentionally bumps into Vincent, and they switch cases. The man welcomes Vincent to LA and they go their separate ways. This bag contains the list of Vincent's contracted kills. Meanwhile, Max, a taxi driver, gets his cab ready for his night shift. As soon as Max gets on the road, he picks up several passengers. Later, Max picks up a lawyer named Annie. Annie tells Max to take her downtown, telling him the route to follow to avoid traffic. Max tells her about a faster route and they both argue lightly for a while. Soon Annie asks that they bet on the outcome. Max offers her a free ride if he's wrong and Annie accepts the deal. Later, Max wins the bet and Annie admits to being wrong. Soon they begin to talk about music and get to know each other better. Annie asks Max if he loves his job and he tells her that he's only doing it as a fill-in job to pay his bills. Max tells Annie that he's working towards opening a limo company for wealthy clients. Max asks her how much she loves being a lawyer, and she asks him if he's psychic, because she hasn't mentioned being a lawyer to him. Max says he could tell from her choice of clothing, and Annie tells him that she's a prosecution lawyer. Later, Max arrives at Annie's destination, and asks again her if she enjoys her work. Annie tells him she loves being in the courtroom, but always gets anxious every night before her first days. Max asks her how, and Annie tells him she's always afraid she'll lose in the courtroom, so she spends her night working hard on her opening statement most times. Max tells her that she needs a vacation, and she asks him when last he had a vacation himself. Max tells her that he goes on vacation several times a day, showing her a picture of an island. Max tells Annie how he stares at the picture to clear his head every time he feels down, then give it to her. Annie refuses at first, but later takes it from him and leaves. Max sighs in relief, and Annie soon returns to give him her business card and walks into a building. Meanwhile, Vincent enters the same building from the parking area, and later walks past Annie, leaving the building. Vincent goes to Max but sees him lost, staring at Annie's business card. Vincent decides to book another cab, but Max calls him back and apologizes. Vincent asks to be taken to 1039 South Union Street, and Max gets on the road. Vincent asks Max how long it will take to get there, and he says 7 minutes. Vincent tries to place a bet to get a free ride, but Max tells him he already gave out his free ride offer for the day. Max asks Vincent if it is his first time in LA, and he says no, stating how much he hates LA and how he always wants to leave soon. Vincent tells Max of how a guy on an MTA was found dead after 6 hours after his death, as people sat next to him not realizing he was dead. Later, Vincent asks that he hires Max for 5 stops to see some friends before leaving for the airport at 6 a.m. Max tells him the cab is not for hire as per regulations. Vincent offers to pay Max $600 for the deal, and he agrees. Vincent pays Max $300 as a down payment and asks Max to go park at the back of the building as he leaves. Max sees that Vincent had left his briefcase in the car, but decides to have dinner. After a while, a body drops on the cab, and Max rushes out to check. Soon, Vincent comes out of the building, and Max realizes that Vincent had killed the guy. Vincent points his gun at Max and asks him to pop the trunk. They both get the body into the trunk, and Vincent washes off the bloodstain with water. Later, Max begs Vincent to take the cab and let him go, but Vincent refuses. Max gets into the cab and drives Vincent to his following location. Meanwhile, a police detective named Fanning goes to visit Ramon and knocks on his door, but no response. Detective Fanning breaks in and soon realizes that something bad had happened to Ramon as he sees his window broken. Fanning calls the station and requests for 2 cops and 1 other detective to the crime scene. Back in the car, Max tries to clean up his car as they wait for the traffic lights, but Vincent tells him that the lights have turned green, telling him to leave the sit and drive to 7565 Fountain, West Hollywood. Max tells Vincent that he's not up for the job, but Vincent calms him down, telling him that he's stressed and needs to improvise and adapt to the environment. Max asks Vincent what Marone had done to deserve a death like that. Vincent says he did nothing, stating that he only met him tonight. Later, they get stopped by 2 cops. Vincent asks Max to take care of it, or he will. Max begs Vincent not to kill them, promising to take care of it. The cops ask for Max's papers and begin to interrogate him about his broken windshield. Soon, the cops notice bloodstains on the windshield, and Max tells them he'd hit a deer on his way. The cops ask Max to get down and ask Vincent to get another cab. Vincent and Max try to talk them out of it, but they insist. As they get out of the car, the cops receive an emergency call and decide to leave, ordering Max to head straight to the garage. Later, Max drives Vincent to his next destination. Vincent gets down and ties Max's hands to the steering wheel. Soon, Max's boss, Lenny, calls in to tell Max that the cops told him he crashed the car. Vincent tells Max what to say, and soon threatens to sue Lenny for extortion while pretending to be an attorney. Lenny is afraid and begs. Soon, Mr. Clark, a notary member gets a call from a hotel receptionist telling him that he has a visitor. Mr. Clark approves the request and goes out to meet the visitor. Meanwhile, Max begins to honk at passers-by for help. Soon, a gang of 4 men sees him in the alley and decides to go see what is going on. As they get there, Max begins to explain to them that he needs their help, but one of them soon points a gun at him and robs him of his wallet and takes Vincent's briefcase. Soon, Vincent comes out of the building and sees 2 of the men leaving. Vincent calls them back and kills both of them, retrieving the stolen items. Vincent gives Max his wallet as he gets in the car and unties him. Later, Max refills his tank, and Vincent tells him that they are going to a jazz club next. At the crime scene, Detective Fanning and other cops examine the area. Fanning tells them that Ramon worked for him as an informant and is an eyewitness for a case against a drug dealer named Felix Reyes Terrena. Soon the cops get info from eyewitnesses about a cab being in the area earlier. At the jazz music club, Daniel, the club owner, plays with his band to entertain his customers. As they watch him play, Vincent tips a waitress to meet Daniel. Later, Daniel sits with Vincent and Max as the club was now empty. Daniel talks about his music career and how he'd once met a jazz legend called Miles Davis. As they discuss, Vincent mentions a place called Culiacan in Cartagena, and Daniel suddenly realizes he's about to die. Max begs Vincent to give Daniel a pass. Then Vincent says he'll ask Daniel a question about Miles Davis, promising to spare him if he gets it right. Vincent asks Daniel where Miles learned music, and Daniel gets it right, but Vincent still kills him. Outside the club, Max gets angry at Vincent for not keeping his promise, but Vincent hits him in the face. Soon, Lenny calls in again and tells Max that his mother has been trying to reach him. Max tells Vincent that his mother is in the hospital, and Vincent says they will visit her to cover up any suspicion. At the hospital, Vincent gets flowers for Ida, Max's mother. Later, they get into the elevator and Detective Fanning joins them as goes to the 5th floor. Soon, they both get to Ida's room and Max tells her he came with a friend. Ida is happy to see Vincent and starts to tell him about Max's limo company and how he drives famous people around. Max uses this opportunity to run away with Vincent's briefcase, and Vincent goes after him. Max gets to a bridge and tosses the briefcase onto the highway. The briefcase gets crushed by a truck and Vincent angrily takes Max to the ground. Meanwhile, at the morgue, Detective Fanning tries to identify the body of Ramon but couldn't find it. As they check the bodies, Fanning gets shocked as he sees the body of Mr. Clark. Fanning calls Detective Richard, his superiors, to inform him about it, connecting the death of Mr. Clark to that of Ramon. Back in the cab, Vincent asks Max to drive to a club named El Rodeo. As they arrive, Vincent tells Max to walk into the club pretending to be Vincent and ask for Felix. Max says he can't, and Vincent threatens to kill his mom. Later, Max walks up to the security guys and they search him. Meanwhile, federal agents are watching Max walk into the club from their operation room, trying to find out who he is. Max successfully gets in, and the security guys take him to meet with Felix. Back in the operation room, Detective Richard and Fanning meet with Agent Pedrosa to inform him about the death of Ramon and Mr. Clark. Soon, Fanning sees Max's taxi's roof on a CCTV display and asks that they zoom in to get the plate. Soon they receive news of Daniel's death and realize they've just lost 3 witnesses in a case against Felix. Soon, Max meets with Felix and tells him that he'd lost the list. Felix gets angry but soon asks Max if he could still finish the job, and he says yes. Meanwhile, in the operation room, as the feds try to extract audio from the footage of Max entering the club, they hear him say he's Vincent. At the club, Felix makes another copy of the list on a flash drive and hands it over to Max. Max gives Vincent the flash drive, and Vincent uses the cab's computer to access the files. Then Vincent tells Max to drive to 6th Street by Alexandria, to a place called Fever. After seeing the killing pattern, the cops and feds soon realize Peter Lim, a club owner, is the next target, and prepare to go protect him. On their way, Detective Fanning tries to convince Agent Pedrosa that Max might have been coerced by the assassin, but Agent Pedrosa is not buying it. Soon the feds arrive at the club, and they all move into the club in numbers. Vincent and Max are already inside, and they begin to make their way towards Lim. Detective Fanning also gets in, and begins to look for Max. Vincent spots Lim and tells Max to keep moving ahead. Later, Vincent begins to attack and kill Lim's security guys as he makes his way forward. Soon, the Fed spots Max and asks him to put his hands up while they also try to take over Lim's security. Agent Pedrosa gets shot in the leg as one of his agents struggles with one of Lim's men, causing chaos. Soon, Detective Fanning rescues Max from the crowd as Vincent exchanges gunfire with the feds and security guys. Vincent continues to defend himself, shooting everyone in his way, and finally kills Lim. Meanwhile, Fanning takes Max outside through the back door, but as they step outside, Vincent shoots Detective Fanning and takes Max with him. As they get on the road again, Vincent asks Max to take him downtown for his last kill. Max gets angry and begins to question Vincent's actions. Soon, Max begins to drive at high speed as he could no longer take it. Vincent begs Max to slow down, but he refuses and crashes the car. They both survive the crash, and Vincent runs away as the police get to the accident scene. The cop asks Max to be calm and calls an ambulance. Soon the cop sees Ramon's body in the trunk and asks Max to put his hands on his head and go on his knees. As Max gets on his knees, he sees the picture of Annie on his cab's computer and realizes she's Vincent's last target. Max takes down the cops, collects his gun, and cuffs him to his car. Soon, Max runs toward the area he had dropped Annie off and steals a guy's phone on his way. Max begins to dial Annie's number as he continues to run, but she wouldn't pick. Max stops for a while and keeps dialing her number as Vincent makes his way to Annie's office. Annie later picks up the call and Max tells her that Vincent is coming to kill her. Annie finds it hard to believe at first, but when Max mentions Felix, she realizes he's serious. Vincent gets to Annie's office and realizes she's not there. He soon realizes she's in the library from her desk phone and goes to destroy the power in the building. Max gets into the building and makes his way to the library by shooting the glass door. Annie hides in the library, but Vincent soon finds her and points his gun at her. However, Max arrives just in time and shoots him in the neck. Max takes Annie and runs away as Vincent gets up and shoots at them. Max and Annie run to the nearest train station and board a train as Vincent chases them. Vincent finds out the train they've boarded and hangs on it as it takes off. Soon, Vincent begins to search each train car for them. Max later sees Vincent through the glass doors and they begin to hide from him. The trains stop briefly and Vincent steps out with his gun, waiting for them to come out. Soon the train moves again and Vincent gets back on the train. Soon Vincent calls out Max and Max comes out of his hiding and they both begin to exchange gunfire. Vincent runs out of bullets and soon realizes he has been shot as he tries to reload. Then he takes a sit as Max and Annie sit opposite him and watch him die. As the train stops, Max and Annie get off the train and the movie ends. Max and Annie carry the memories of that fateful night with them, a reminder of the darkness that can lurk just beneath the surface of a seemingly ordinary world. Thank you for supporting my small channel. If you like this video, share and like to help this channel out. Thanks for watching and see you at the next one.